What's going on, everybody, and welcome to a new video. This right here is the Efficiency Fusion Y80, so it's 80 stacker. Something I failed to mention, not something I failed, but something people have been asking in the comments for the 60 is that sometimes this cannon here, of course, it's gonna dip at some point, at this, like at some range, it's going to dip one block, not like a fully block. But you get what I mean. So, of course, that's something I might have forgotten to tell you the last release is that at some point the cannon here is going to dip. Of course, it's not going to be right now since we have a huge amount of power on this and the velocity is so great that we of course still are going to see a little bit where it's just gonna keep working. It's going to work for quite a while. But at some point it's going to start dip one block, and then you'll be able to see it very, very easy that it's going to dip one block. So if you want to, okay, I probably unloaded the chunks right there. So if you wanna, let's say you wanna kind of compare filters, it doesn't really matter. Let me stack it up there. The dip doesn't really matter, because everything is in one block. We'll be able to control the distance from hammer to slab buster to sand by delaying our power as we have already done. So we pretty much got that on the go. So you wouldn't need that. But of course, at some point the cannon is going to dip, and you'll be able to see that very easily whenever they can. Okay, one shot is not happy with the server right now at all. So let's try one more time. See if that was going to work. Yeah, it looks like it's going to work. So at some point, as you see right now, it's going to dip one block. And of course, this, like as of right now, okay, it's not working at all. It's just disappearing. Yep, it's just disappearing. Okay. Well, let's just stay here then. So at some point, the cannon is of course going to dip. Now, if you are aiming at one block, like we're doing right now, then of course that's going to be a problem. But most likely you are going to face a full wall because nobody makes like one block. So the dip of this cannon here doesn't really matter in this situation, because you do have all of these different kind of the defense, but in the end of the all, everything is going to be a full wall, so you're never gonna face like one block. You might be able to see filters, but if you dip on those, it doesn't really matter. But of course, if you're on one block right here, you're gonna see a dip at some point. Of course, we have so much power that it's gonna work for quite a while, and it wouldn't dip. And even if it dips, it's still gonna stay in that block, since it doesn't dip a full block. But you'll be able to shoot very, very far. Right now, I'm pretty sure we're like, what are we at? Around 10, 11 chunks, because this one here has a greater distance in between. You start a little bit before that. So around there, and we are still focusing on how much it dips. So we are doing on one block right now. So at some point it's going to dip, that's certain. But when it's going to dip is really, really unknown right now. I haven't really tested it. I just started the video right here. So it's going to dip at some point, and when it does, well, don't be afraid, because you're probably never ever going to start cannoning on one block. But as you see right now, we're still going into one block, and that means you'll still be able to go 2 filters, if of course we're not dipping too much. And even if you're dipping, everything is going to dip on that block. So it doesn't really matter if you dip, because it's just going to get caught on some of the others, and you'll still be able to go 2 without any problems at all. But of course, and sorry if I didn't say it last time, it is going to dip at some point, of course. But when it's going to be, or when it's going to dip an entire block is really not me to say. But this just simply shows that you'll be able to shoot very far, even though it starts dipping. It doesn't really matter, because you see it still works 100%. You had 19 chunks right now and it still works 100%. Doesn't have any dip at all. So let's go ahead and continue. You're pretty much to an entire buffer right now. Pretty much. It's 20. So let's have this last one right here. There it goes to full buffer. That's around, okay, 21. But if you look over here, we started before that, as you see right here. So around 20. So you're to the entire buffer now, meaning you would have been able to go to all the filters without any dip or anything related to that. So that's always nice. Now if you continue, and of course at some point it's going to dip, not sure when, but at some point it's going to dip, and we can't really help that, but it is going to shoot very, very far with the amount of TNT we have in the power. So we're going to be able to shoot very far. But if we continue testing right here, oh, here we are. So right now we are at around 24 chunks, and that is where the cannon's hammer is going to explode. That either means that you'll need to add a tick to your hammer, or it means that you would have to add more power. Now in this case right here, let's say you were very close to the base, you wouldn't really need to add power. Yeah, you wouldn't really need to. You can just add a tick to the hammer. You'll be able to go through it. But there is one problem with whenever you add a tick to the hammer. That is that the cannon is going to dip, like the sand stack is going to dip one block, and it might not function well. So right now we are at 23 chunks, and of course that's like end of the buffer and everything. But as you can see right here, we are still experiencing some problems with the cannon at 24 chunks, and that's due to the lack of power and of course a little bit of dip. So this is pretty much what it is. So if you guys know, like, it is going to dip, but it isn't going to dip before you like reach the end of the wall. So you will still be able to get into the base and stuff like that without any problems. Now, when that is taken care of, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the cannon itself. So I talk around 7 minutes right now about this. So let's go ahead and make this real quick. So again, this is Daily Stacker Efficiency Fusion. We use this way when everything goes into one block. So let's go ahead and break the glass with here and show you real quick. I know a lot of you guys have already heard this before, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you one more time. Power goes right here. Hammer comes in from right up there. Scatter, hammer comes into right here. Slap boss comes from the top. Everything is going to be collected in this where this trapdoor is. So the slap boss is going to fall all the way down there. The hammer and the scatter is going to be pushed out by that piston and land right there. Then we have the sand, which is going right there, and then it's going to fall right there, actually further down, and then it's going to blow up. No, it's not going to blow up. The power is going to shoot it out. So everything here is right next to the power, which is efficiency fusion. So I'm pretty sure that that's called the basic of it. Of course, we have a slap boss right here. You'll be able to add a tick to if you want to. We're still running with a sand compression like this. Now I choose not to put any longer comp on it, because then you'll need TNT right here. But what's so great about this is when it's 6 high is that you'll be able to add these dispensers and stuff like that without having to remove the ground for wiring it up, which is pretty cool. I know a lot of people have those problems with some of my sand compressions, but there's no need to fear. This is pretty much what is at. So the difference between efficiency fusion and the difference between normal fusion or whatever is that this over here is our efficiency fusion. That's one we're firing right now. And as I showed you, everything goes into one block. Now, if you want to take a closer look at this right here, this is pretty much the most, I don't know if it's the most standard one, but it's pretty much where everybody gets their thing. So hammer, sand, slap post getting fired out by power right there. And if you see the hammer is so far away from the power, and they're all at different levels or different distance away from the power, which is creating this right here. Of course, you're not going to dip at the exact same time. This is pretty much what it's going to look like on efficiency fusion. Everything is going to, if it's going to dip, no matter the distance, if it's 20 chunks, 15 chunks, whatever, they're all going to dip at the same time, which is going to make it a lot easier for us to go through filters. If you didn't have it like this, and let's say you had your hammer as here, far away from the power, you'll see that, oh, that's the hammer, you'll see that this one will dip right here instead. So, meaning that you will end up having the sand and the hammer in the same spot at some point. And the same goes for the slap post and the sand. It's going to dip at some point, but the depth is going to be closer to each other. So let's just let's just make a quickly example right here. The slab is gonna dip at 19 chunks. The sand is gonna dip at 18 chunks, and that's because the sand is further away from the slab bust. So the sand is going to dip for the slab bust, which is going to make this like a little bit difficult and stuff like that. That's why we're using this efficiency fusion, which is going to make everything a lot easier. So that's pretty much how we use that. Now, I also have a few questions about normal cannons. Like, is there a way you can possibly change a normal cannon, not a fusion, to be something like this? And there definitely is. There's plenty of ways to do that. But you would have to use. Let me see if I can find it. I had something set up for you guys right here, somewhere, where I quickly. Oh, here we are. So this right here is a normal cannon. It has a guide and everything. And this right here is going to be the power. This right here is going to be sand and slab bust. This right here is hammer and scatterer. So you see, it's pretty close to each other, and you could even make this closer to each other, like even closer than this, because if you don't want your hammer to be right here, there's a way you can do that. So let's say you take a trapdoor. So of course this right here is just an example, because this would be not really working properly. Well, I guess it will, but it's not really gonna be effective. So now that we have trapdoors in, our hammer will be able to go almost into this block, but just this trapdoor right here in between, and the piston here will sort of push it. And then we will have, of course, we'll have our slab bust, we will have our sand coming in right there. But the most important is that the slab bust, which is coming from right here, falling down right here, is going to up right here and end off right there, pretty much when it's getting fired out, of course, while the hammer is getting fired in the same line but with the trapdoor distance, meaning that it will go past this trapdoor and end up right there, of course very like more close into that one. So it's still under a guider, but it's like very more compact into each other. This right here is not really a good way to do it. There's other ways to do it. That will make it a lot easier and more safe, since you can't really water that part right there. But that is pretty much how you would do it with a normal cannon. This right here is a very good thing to do. Having this close to each other, you'll be able to shoot way further and you'll have less dip, which is going to make your cannon work a lot better. So this haven't really been in a focus before the efficiency fusion came out. So that's probably why we haven't really talked much about that. But I think that is pretty much it. This right here is the 80 Saga efficiency fusion. First of all, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching this video here. And if you enjoyed it, remember to like this video here and comment down below if you have any questions, suggestions. And as you saw today, I was explaining some few stuff that people put in the comments or ask me about it in game. So if you have any problems with the cannon or questions, as I said, go ahead and leave a comment, and then I will definitely try to see if I can answer the best I can. But as always, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching this video here. Remember to subscribe to my channel. My name is Dexter, and I'm out.